Hey everybody, Chad Schimmel here. Today I want to show you how I do stone inlay pens. If you've seen my ring videos where I do the channel rings with the inlay of opal or stone, the process is fairly similar. I am going to use CA versus the UV resin on this, and I'll show you why here in a minute. But as far as the materials, all that is the same. So these are some samples I've done on a flat board. This is cherry, and that's not really relevant, but just in case you were wondering. But I've done different stone inlays. Now what's cool about this is these are all done with lapis powder, which we have at Turner's. It's just the very fine crushed stone. But some of these I've mixed in other stones or even glow in the dark. So for example, that one, pretty cool, glow in the dark. You might see some little hints of glow in the dark in some of the others. This is just a UV flashlight. But it's really cool to mix your stone with different things because you can get different looks, whether it be stone or glow or opal, on all your different stuff. So even if you have only 2 or 3 different inlays, you can mix them around to make some really cool combinations. Now I always do an inlay test like this where I laser my pattern, fill it with stone. These aren't sanded, they're just sprayed with a clear lacquer because I want to see how it's going to look. Although a little different on a pen, you get the idea of what this will look like when round. Much smaller here, but kind of you still get the point. And usually they do translate well. Depends on your laser and your software. Okay, so for this demonstration, I've got a dyed stabilized blank, just more or less to show you. What I've done is turned the blank down to size, gave it a quick sand, not a finish sand, and then a CA finish coat. And I don't mean CA finish to completion, I just mean a coat of CA, because once we laser this and go to fill it in, we don't want to have any grain lines or grooves that our CA or our stone will get in. So that kind of seals it up. But I'm actually going to use this zebra wood. Zebra wood is a favorite among pen turners. And I've done the same thing. I turned it to size. This is for a Monarch. I've turned it to size. I've put a coat of CA on it, and then I lasered it. And I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but my lasering is fairly deep. And I do that on purpose because I want to be able to put the stone in there and have it get down in there. And I still want room to be able to give it a little light sanding when I'm done, because I am going to sand it and then CA finish it. So this is a really simple process. I'm actually going to use turquoise for this. And you can, let's see what I've got here. Even a popsicle stick would work really well, but you're going to start out with this dry. And you just want to get a little bit of the stone powder. And I always do it over something. Usually I have a piece of paper. It helps funnel this back in, but I'll make this work. And I just am going to sprinkle the stone onto one side here. So if you can see that, you zoom in here. If you can see that, I've got just kind of a line of stone there. And what I'm going to do is kind of rub it in. And I just want to get it to fall down into those grooves. And I'm going to kind of work my way around here. And already you can see, if I brush off the loose stuff, that the turquoise is in the groove. Now I'm going to do that again. I'm going to rotate it just a tiny bit. I can't go too far or the stone will start to fall out. But I'm going to do that, rub it in, and then rub off any excess. And now at this point I'm going to get my thin CA. And this is where you got to be real careful. You got to control the CA. I want to kind of get the first line that I did, and you can always go back and add a little more, but I'm just going to coat that. I'll kind of move it to make sure I don't mind if it goes off the back side, but I don't want it going forward and filling in my channel where I'm going to put stone in a sec. So now that I've got that glued, I can rotate this a little bit, do the next line, and again, just kind of rubbing it in. And you want to, give it a good push. You want to get it down in those channels. You can pinch it if you want. And I got just a little tiny bit more, so I'm going to try to finish this off. And you want to make sure and go back and look over it and make sure you got stone in all of the cuts. And by cuts I mean where I laser engraved. So looking at this, it's kind of hard to tell, but it looks like I did. So I'm going to put drops of CA. And if you can see it, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but the CA kind of follows the channels of the engraving, which is a good thing. And I'm just going to coat it. And what I like to do now is let this sit a minute, let the CA kind of set up, and then I'll go back and do another coat of stone over top of it, just in case I have any spots that I missed. If I do it now, it'll work, but I've also got a lot of CA on there, so it's going to be clumpy. So tap that off, let that dry a minute, and then I'll go back and do another coat. Okay, so this has pretty much dried. I'm not really going to go back and do any more because I think from what I can see it's all in the channels, the engraving. So I'm actually going to take this to the lathe now and put a little more CA on it to kind of set it, and then I'm going to sand it flat, and then I'm going to do a CA finish on it. Okay, I've got the two pen tubes done. They've both been sanded and have a CA finish. The zebra wood, you can see the blue came out really well. It is a dark wood, so the blue kind of offsets it nicely. Not sure how well the video will pick it up, but it does look pretty good in person. And then of course the CA finish gives it that shine. The glow in the dark on the dark blue here looks pretty cool. The eyes I think would have come out really cool with the purple opal, but I got a little bit of that dust from the glow powder on top of them, so they look a little cloudy. Probably looks cooler this way with the glow in the dark, because even the eyes glow. It's amazing how there's glow powder all the way around it that I couldn't see, and you can't see in the day, but that's something you got to do to know that you got to look out for that. I didn't put the light on it on the lathe. I was just going by what I could see. So it looks cool, but there definitely could be some improvements to that process. That is the inlay of a pen blank, and you can do any kind of material you like. I will put all the things I used in the description below.